Our world, our voice, young Tamils.
வணக்கம் நேர்களே, மெய்வெளியின் ஒரு விசேட நிகழ்ச்சி ஒன்றில் இன்று சந்திப்பதையிட்டு மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகின்றேன். என்று என்ன அலனோடு வந்திருக்கிறேன் என்று நீங்க யோசிப்பீங்க. மிக முக்கியமாக இளையவர்கள் சார்ந்ததான ஒரு நிகழ்ச்சி ஒன்று. அரசியலில் எங்களுடைய தமிழ் இளையவர்களுக்கு ஈடுபாடு இருக்கின்றதா, அவர்களுடைய ஆர்வம் என்ன, நாட்டம் என்ன என்பது தொடர்பான பல கேள்விகள் எங்களுக்கு இருக்கின்றன. அவர்களுடைய தனியாகவே சோசியல் மீடியா சார்ந்ததான ஒரு பாப்புலாரிட்டி தளத்தில் அவர்கள் இயங்கிக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்களா, அதனை கடந்து அரசியல் ரீதியாக அவர்களுடைய ஈடுபாடு இருக்கின்றதா, சமூகம் சார்ந்த நலன்களோடு செயற்பாடுகின்றார்களா என்று பல கேள்விகள் இருக்கின்றன. ஆனால் இன்று மிக முக்கியமாக ஒரு இளைஞரை நான் சந்தித்தேன். திரு லூயிஸ் என்னும் ஒரு அழகிய துடிதுடிப்பான உற்சாகமான இளைஞன்.
My name is Adi Thiru Lewis, and I was elected as coordinating youth officer from the Labour Party in 2019.
அவருடைய சிறுவயது முதல் அரசியல் நாட்டம் கொண்டவர். தற்பொழுது தொழிற்கட்சியோடு, பிரித்தானியாவின் லேபர் பார்ட்டியோடு இணைந்து அவர் ஒரு யூத் ஆபீசராக பணியாற்றுகின்றார், தொடர்ந்து பணியாற்றி வருகின்றார். நீண்ட காலமாக அவருக்கு அரசியல் தொடர்பான ஈடுபாடு இருக்கிறது.
And since then I've been able to host meetings in which MPs and young people have been able to network and associate and try and just brainstorm ideas to try and help young people in their areas.
இந்த இளைஞருடைய இந்த அரசியல் தொடர்பான ஈடுபாடும் அரசியலில் அவர் கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அபிப்பிராயங்கள் தொடர்பாக நாங்கள் இன்று பேச இருக்கின்றோம். இளையவர்களுடைய குரலை கேட்பதும், அவர்களுடைய ஈடுபாடுகள், அவருடைய நோக்கங்கள், எதிர்காலங்கள் நோக்கிய கனவுகள் நோக்கி பேசுவது மிக முக்கியமான விடயமாக இருக்கிறது. ஆகவே எங்களுடைய தமிழ் குழந்தையாக இருந்தாலும் இளைஞனாக இருந்தாலும் கூட அவர் மிக முக்கியமாக பேச வேண்டிய விடயம் காத்திரமான விடயமாக இருக்கின்றபடியால் ஆங்கிலத்தில் அவர்களுக்கான கேள்வியே இன்று தொடுக்க இருக்கின்றார்கள். நிச்சயமாக இளையவர்களுக்கு அவர்கள் தொடர்பான அவருடைய செயற்பாடுகள் தொடர்பாக நிறையவே ஈடுபாடு இருக்கும். அதிகமாக அலனுக்கு சினிமாவில் ஈடுபாடு இருந்தாலும் கூட அரசியல் சார்ந்து இப்படி ஒரு இளைஞர், ஒரு டீனேஜர் வந்து ஆக்டிவாக இயங்குகின்றார் என்னும் பொழுது அவருக்கு நிறைய கேள்வி இருக்கின்றது. அதே போல அண்மையில மேயர் கேண்டிடேட்டாக இருந்த ஒரு இளைஞரை பற்றியும் அவர் தொடர்ச்சியாக அவரை ஃபாலோ பண்ணி கொண்டிருந்தார் இன்ஸ்டாகிராமிலையும். அவருடைய செயற்பாடுகள் தொடர்பாக அது தொடர்பாக நிறைய கேள்விகளை அலருக்கு இருக்கின்றது. ஆகவே நாங்கள் இன்று ஆதியுடன் பேச போகின்றோம். வெல்கம் ஆதி.
வணக்கம் தமிழ் மக்களே. Nice to be here.
வணக்கம் வணக்கம், சந்தோஷமாக இருக்கின்றது. ஆதியினுடைய அழகான பெரிய சிரிப்போட இன்றைக்கு வணக்கம் தமிழ் மக்களே மக்களே எல்லாம் கூப்பிட்டாச்சு இல்லையா ஆதி?
Yeah, of course. It's really good to be here, and yeah.
Yes, Alan have lots of questions. Adi, I hope you understood what I said before in my introduction.
Oh, of course.
So we are really proud of you to have you here today, and we are very interested to know about your political activities and your involvement with the Labour Party here. And Alan has lots of questions to ask you. So I hope you will happy to answer all these questions. Will you?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Okay, so nowadays young people like myself, we don't know much about politics, but you seem like an expert on this topic, so I'll just ask a few questions. Firstly, how did you become interested in the Labour Party and politics as a whole?
Well, I think it really stemmed from my environment at home. So my mom, she came from Sri Lanka, and she was a refugee because of that. And I think just generally, when you understand that type of situation, you kind of get interested in the political atmosphere and why she came here, to a completely foreign country. She's also a counsellor at the same time. She goes on TV sometimes and does some kind of shows. And from that, you kind of see, the type of people skills needed and the problems that people face. Such as, most of them coming from societal issues. So from that, you also get quite interested. Also, my dad, being born here, he's a teacher in a secondary school. So he's the union secretary in Sadiq. And so I used to attend these meetings and, kind of see, how workers' rights is established and what must be held on and what must be, just held on for every single worker in this country. My brothers also, they attended the hunger strike in 2009. And I remember going there even as a 6-year-old, and just seeing the kind of people upset and crying in the Tamil community at like its lowest moment. And from that, I think you kind of feel like an urge and a power to try and go forward and try and change something, because that's not right. They're also NHS doctors, so from that you kind of see, the kind of the plight that the NHS is going through, because a lot of cuts are occurring due to the Conservative government at the moment. So again, it's going back to workers' rights, and that's why I'm quite interested in the healthcare sector.
Okay, thank you, Adi. That was all really great. How did you get involved in the Labour Party, and what process did you go through to become the youth officer?
Sure. Maybe Alan interested to join the Labour Party as well. So
yeah, of course, join. Come on, we need as many people, young people, as possible. I joined when I was 14, and I was, running towards getting. I joined on my birthday, even like as soon as I woke up. And when I joined when I was on my birthday. That's how eager I was. I started attending meetings and, kind of just having a rapport with my local MP and the local members. And then after that, I started volunteering with my MP after, building that rapport with him. And from there, I started working in Parliament. And from there, I saw Boris Johnson when he was Brexit Secretary, Keir Starmer, Jeremy Corbyn, Boris Johnson's brother, Sir Ian Duncan Smith. It was like an endless list of people. It was like a whole cafeteria almost of just famous people you saw on TV. And it's just, it was, I think I knew from then it was my dream. How I got into being a youth officer, when I was attending the meetings and kind of just showcasing my ability of able to do like my people and leadership skills I developed throughout my life and throughout from school, they kind of just allowed me to showcase that in this position.
So as the youth officer, what kind of responsibilities do you have? What kind of tasks do they give you? And tell us a bit about that.
Sure, of course. So as youth officer for Croydon North, I try and just galvanize support from young people, not even just Labour members, to try and come and join the party. Because, Croydon is quite a depreciated area with quite a high level of youth unemployment and just general pressures that young people don't need. So I think by bringing in more people through that, and we can try and solve that together. I also do campaigns such as youth unemployment schemes. So due to COVID and the pandemic, a lot of job sectors have decreased in value. So I try and make campaigns and workshops to try and show young people new areas where they can get employed and try and give them the skills to be better employed in those areas. Currently, I'm proposing a shadowing scheme to Croydon Council, where I try and show councillors and make it, part of legislation that they can be able to just shadow councillors around their lives to try and make more young people interested in taking politics as a job.
Okay. So you're 17, aren't you, Adi?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So how do you cope with doing all these tasks that you've mentioned and with school at the same time? Is it difficult or can you manage?
Yeah, no, I've managed this long, so it's doable, but it is very hard.
Okay.
So in my half terms, I would usually try and do as much as possible in Parliament, working with Steve, try and just contacting people with him, shadowing him, understanding the role of an MP truly. And at the same time, before school, early morning and after school, I would try and just be on the doors and just either delivering leaflets through the door, like the doors themselves, or try and knocking on them to try and get people to try and vote for Labour at the same time. So yeah, I've been doing that quite a lot.
Okay.
So you don't have enough time to spend for yourself then?
I think that comes, you need time management for something like this. You need to be able to understand when, you need to work and when you need to do school and when you just need time for yourself. Because obviously everyone in every job needs time for themselves. So, yeah, I do get some time in.
Okay. Recently, there had been the London mayor election.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
There were many candidates like Sadiq Khan. And have you heard of Nico or Milana?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so going
So
on the point of, so Nico or Milani,
No,
I've seen him. I watch his content. Yeah, I watch his content, and I enjoy his content, his recent kind of prank by coming fifth in the mayoral election. But coming from that, like, I think, though it was funny, young people, they need to understand the power that they have in their votes. And I think that just boils down to kind of, political awareness. Because, I think, you're kind of voting for a comedian in such a serious kind of election. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Because the power in the vote, you can change so much of that.
Can be mayor then?
No, of course I know a young person can be mayor. But, I think someone who wants change should be mayor. Obviously, yeah. And yeah, I think obviously a question stemming from that of how I feel from the mayoral election is I'm glad that Sadiq Khan, got a second term in. Yeah, of course.
Everyone in your family voted for Sadiq Khan then?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I wouldn't have let them otherwise.
Yes.
So out of all the candidates, who like, if you could vote, who would have you voted for? Sadiq Khan or?
So for the mayoral election, yeah, Sadiq Khan, of course. His policies, to do with TFL and just the minimum wage. I think I heavily proud of that. That someone in our party was able to do that. I mean, also one of my close friends in South Norwood got recently elected, and I was canvassing for that early morning, a couple of weeks before the election. And so, yeah, I was so happy about that when I finally saw his picture, Councillor of South Norwood, Louis Catharida. So I was like, yeah, that's a job well done.
Now, you seem to be really interested in England, the UK politics. What about, are you interested in Tamil politics?
Yeah, I am. So due to not being able to go to Sri Lanka that much, because my mum is quite scared of what happened to her, because she was almost a victim of Black July. So obviously she would be really scared of going back to Sri Lanka, and she hasn't been back since I was born. So yeah, I'm interested in Tamil politics a lot. So because I'm not able to go there, I normally just read books about it and research and talk to people that have experienced it. Yeah, because Tamil, just our society, the Ila Tamils, we are such a proud community. We have such a proud history. So you can't not be interested in Tamil politics, in my opinion.
I have one question. Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
So, Adi, is there any other Tamil young people involved with the Croydon Council with the political parties or any of your youth activities? Is there anyone?
So in terms of other Tamil people involved, there's elder Tamil people. So there's a few Tamil councillors in Broad Green, but in terms of young Tamil people in Croydon, no, there isn't. It's just me.
Yeah, that's only you.
Yeah, it's only me. Yeah.
Okay, that will lend your time.
I also heard that you'd done some volunteering work. You had been to India and done something there. Could you please tell us a bit about your volunteering work?
So I think stemming from the Sri Lanka thing, about not being able to go. My mum preferred to send me by myself 2 years ago to India, and I stayed 8 weeks there. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. So
she
you
said
went
it was like
when you were 15 years old.
I went when I was 15 years old. Yeah, by myself.
You went alone. You
Yeah, I
permitted
went
to
alone.
go
Yeah.
travel alone. Oh, brilliant! He's going to ask
Yeah.
me to get the permission to travel alone.
You can come to my house there. So I stayed for 8 weeks in India, and
Okay.
I for 2 weeks I was in Madurai, teaching slum children English and just teaching them just general life skills, because the education system there isn't okay, especially if you haven't got money. And I think from that I kind of learned about just the wealth disparity in India, and just you kind of see how raw, I mean, it is in India. By you can see that some kids there, they can't even afford to go to the cinema, but down a couple kilometers there's this rich kid who can go every weekend. And that makes you think about here. That makes you think about the kind of wealth disparity that goes on here. And when you kind of look in that lens, you can see it. You can see that there is a wealth disparity here as well. Even in my area, in Croydon, it's got one of the highest areas of poverty in general in the UK, and the council's bankrupt. So yeah, you see that, and that kind of influenced my desire for politics as well. Also in India, I was able to meet with local Tamil parties such as the Virudalai Sritakal Kachi, led by Tirunavaka. Yeah. So I was able to go to meet him, and he liked me so much that he invited me to his son's wedding.
Oh.
Yeah, so from that I was able to understand the political scheme and the political movement in India. I was able to stay with a prominent human rights activist for those 4 weeks of it, called Vincent Manohar, and he's a family friend of ours. And I was just able to see society and the caste system and how discriminatory and just is despicable it is. I can't even have words for it. That's how bad it is.
So last two questions, Adi.
Sure, of course.
Why do you think young people like myself and you should be involved and understand politics a lot?
Well, I think as we are the future of this country, even though we are a refugee community, first generation only came 30 years ago, we are being integrated into this society. And we need to just understand just the workings of this country, I feel, at the same time. And as young people, we need to understand, we're going to be living here, for the rest of our lives. We need to understand how the political scheme is, and also need to change it so for our community benefits as well from it.
Okay. And last question, what is your dream? What's your future going to be like in terms of politics?
So, as I don't come from a especially wealthy background, or have the familial ties and networks that other big mainstream politicians have, I need to go into education first as a type of form of social mobility. So I need to go to uni first. I need to get a job. I want to go through the medicine field first for a job, just because my own personal morals. I need to, that's what's going into me wanting to help people. And then after that, I want to be elected as a councillor. And from there, I want to be elected as an MP. And then finally, part of the ministry. So that needs us to be elected first. But I want to be part of the ministry, preferably Ministry of Health.
Ministry of Health, you're going on that pathway. Yes. Good luck, Adi. And could you tell me your experience and support from who always support you from MP sides and your family, and who always encourage you to get more involved with the politics?
Okay, so that's a good question. My local MP for Croydon North, Steve Reed, MP OBE, he's been like the best mentor you could have. since I joined when I was 14 and we built that rapport with each other, that he taught me just every nook and cranny about being an MP, and he's just supported me all the way through. I can't thank him enough for everything he's done. And in terms of family, is everyone, is a community effort within my family. My mum supports me through either just talking through the different schemes and how to better help my local young people, and my brothers who try and help in the sense of reminding me of where we come from. They're also my mentors in a sense in terms of my life. So they kind of remind me in terms of everything. And same with my dad. He reminds me of, oh, you can't do this, you need to do that. So he supports me in that way.
Yeah, it's great to hear from you a lot, Adi. I'm really proud of you. Such a young lad. You are caring about the community and your family and the world. You would like to bring a bit change of the current situation of the human life, isn't it? So it's my pleasure to have you today and to hear from your words. And thank you so much for your time. And last questions.
No, of
What
course.
would you like to say for the younger generation these days?
I thought you were going to ask that. Yeah, I was dying to answer that. So usually young people in general, how can I say this? They think that politics is an old man's job. My message to young people is that it's not. We make what we can of politics. Politics is just a tool. It's not whatever is portrayed by other young people or social media or whatever. Politics is a tool, and you can sense that young people want change. They want change by meaning, 69%, even though they say they're disinterested in established politics, they do show that they are interested in climate change, in gender rights, in things that affect them personally and in the future. So I think, young people, it's crucial that you get involved, because it's going to change our country for the better.
So what you're going to do, Alan?
I might go and join your party.
Your party?
Yeah, man, join. We can network. I'll show you the rings. I'll show you what's happening.
So, would you like to thank you, Adi, Alan?
Thank you, Adi, very much for answering my questions. It's helped a lot.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you very much for your time. And yes. And I would like to say a few words in Tamil to our audience. And இன்றைக்கு ஆதியை நாங்கள் எங்களுடைய நிகழ்ச்சியில வரவழைச்சிருந்தோம். மிக அற்புதமான ஒரு இளைஞருடைய சிந்தனை, அரசியல் சார்ந்த, சமூகம் சார்ந்த, உலகியல் சார்ந்த சிந்தனை தொடர்பாக தன்னுடைய ஈடுபாடு, சிறுவயது தொடக்கமே அவர் அரசியலில் ஈடுபட்டு வருவதை மிக திட்ட தெளிவாக பேசியிருந்தார். நிச்சயமாக பலருக்கு இது ஒரு சந்தோஷமான விடயமாக இருக்கும். எங்களுடைய இளையவர்கள் இந்த பிரித்தானிய அரசியல் இடம் பிடிப்பார்களா என்ற கேள்வி பலர் மத்தியில் இருக்கின்றது. எல்லோருமே ஆகவே நிச்சயமாக எதிர்காலத்தில் அவர் தன்னுடைய கல்வியினால திறத்தை வளர்த்து கொண்டு அரசியலில் இப்பொழுது ஷேடோ மினிஸ்ட்ரியில கூடுதலாக இன்வால்வ் ஆக இருக்கிறார். கேபினெட்டுக்கு போகக்கூடிய சாத்தியக்கூறுகள் எதிர்காலத்தில் இருக்கும் என்று நம்புகின்றேன். அவருக்கூடாக ஈழத்தமிழர்களுக்கான பல ஆதரவுகளும் அவருக்கூடாக கிடைக்கலாம் என்ற நம்பிக்கை இருக்கின்றது. மிக்க நன்றி ஆதிக்கும் என்ற நிகழ்ச்சியை பார்த்து கொண்டு அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி. ஆதி, உங்களுக்கும் மிக்க நன்றி. ஆதியினுடைய பெற்றோருக்கும் எங்களுடைய வாழ்த்துக்களை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றோம். எல்லோருக்கும் இன்றைய நாள் பொழுது நல்ல நாளாக அமைய வாழ்த்து கூறி உங்களிடமிருந்து அன்போடு விடை பெற்றுக் கொள்கின்றோம். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
நன்றி.
Our world, our voice, young Tamils.